第3单元金融贸易
Finance and Trade.
课文口译英译汉口译课文
China's biggest challenge is to avoid getting stuck in what economists call the middle income trap. China is now a middle-income country, and one that is determined to become a high-income country by 2030. Premier Li Keqiang recently said, "Systemic, institutional, and structural problems have become tigers in the road, holding up development. This is why China has launched deep structural reforms to lift incomes and living standards in the long term. These reforms will lead to a new normal of slower, safer, and more sustainable growth. In this context, the IMF forecasts GDP growth of 6.8% in 2015, about half a percentage point less than last year. The challenges and potential rewards are huge. China has begun a process of rebalancing in multiple dimensions, from investment to consumption, from manufacturing to services, from capital-intensive growth to one that is driven by innovation, higher skills, and technology. How can you achieve all this? By creating the right conditions and getting the work done. By preserving economic and financial stability, the government is creating the conditions in which adjustments can unfold safely. For example, credit growth has slowed in the past 12 months, which is helping to contain vulnerabilities in the financial system. The government is also pressing ahead with ambitious, market-oriented reforms laid out in the Third Plenum Blueprint. Let me highlight one key objective: opening up the service sector. By injecting greater competition into the service sector, China will boost employment, consumption, and living standards. This requires removing barriers for private companies in areas such as finance, education, health, telecom, and logistics. These sectors will offer exciting entrepreneurial opportunities for your generation. In fact, you can launch your new business right here in Shanghai. This great city has been leading the liberalization of China's service sector by changing business regulations and encouraging startups. The new Shanghai Pilot Free Trade Zone is a testament to Shanghai's long tradition of pragmatism, business innovation, and international outlook. Finance is playing a particularly important role. China is now creating a modern financial sector that can channel its vast savings into the most efficient investments, including the startups that you will create. There has been good progress in opening up the financial sector. For example, China has liberalized its lending rates and has made its deposit rates more flexible. The government is also encouraging private investors to establish small and medium-sized banks and other financial institutions. Maintaining this reform momentum will be essential. This means taking further steps to liberalize the deposit rates and the exchange rate. It means removing implicit government guarantees, especially for state-owned enterprises, to promote better pricing and allocation of credit. It also means developing a greater tolerance of corporate defaults and bankruptcies to create more room for healthy companies to thrive and access credit. All these reforms are united by a common ingredient, a greater willingness to allow market forces to work. China also needs more sustainable growth. As with many countries around the world, China's economic success has come at a price. Increasing environmental damage and rising income inequality. This is precisely why China is moving to a development model that will generate greener, more inclusive, and more widely shared growth. Clearly, environmental awareness is increasing at all levels of Chinese society, and actions are being taken. China has been stepping up its green policies, from cracking down on industrial pollution to spearheading innovation in renewable energy. It has recently raised gasoline taxes and is considering an environmental protection tax. But there is still a long way to go. Another long-term challenge is rising income inequality. China has lifted more than 600 million people out of poverty over the past 3 decades. An amazing achievement by any standard. But disparities persist between rural and urban regions, coastal and inland areas, and within cities and rural areas.
口译课文。本届博览会及经济发展合作论坛以开放合作、共建丝绸之路经济带为主题，邀请1000多位嘉宾莅临，目的是广开言路、理清思路、凝聚共识、谋求良策。借此机会，我想谈几点体会。第一，建设丝绸之路经济带的立论之源是知古见今，面向未来。古老的丝绸之路位于一片神奇的土地，这里不仅物产丰饶、民族众多、文化璀璨，而且开创了商贸互通、文明互鉴之先河，历史上长期走在人类社会发展的前列。16世纪以后，由于种种原因，我们错失了太多联合自强、发展振兴的历史机遇。进入新世纪以来，沿线国家抓住经济全球化和区域经济一体化的机遇，一批新兴国家和地区组织在全球舞台上崭露头角，各种区域、次区域合作蓬勃发展，深刻影响着世界政治经济格局。这里有50多个国家和38亿人口，是世界上最具发展潜力的区域之一。只要我们登高望远，携手共进，一定能够做大区域经济合作的蛋糕。第二，建设丝绸之路经济带的核心理念是开放包容、共商共建、互利共赢。开放包容就是说，经济带的地域和国别范围是开放的，凡是有意愿的国家都可以成为经济带的参与者、建设者和受益者。共商共建就是要平等协商，集思广益，各施所长，各尽所能，大家齐心协力把事办好。互利共赢就是要把兼顾各方利益、反映各方诉求，使各国人民都能从中受益。第三，建设丝绸之路经济带的主攻方向是五通，贸易畅通是先导，道路连通是基础，政治沟通是保障，货币流通是重要支撑，民心相通是动力源泉。五通皆通之日，应是经济带建成之时。第四，建设丝绸之路经济带的基本路径是先易后难，日积月累。建设丝绸之路经济带是宏大的系统工程，是长期而艰巨的任务，不可能一蹴而就，千里之行始于足下，路要一步一步走。口译实践 英汉口译。
Today, Britain and China have strong diplomatic relations. Our businesses are creating deeper ties, and our people-to-people links are close. But there are opportunities to do so much more. We should go further on trade and investment, not only for China to invest in the United Kingdom, but also for British businesses to expand and grow in China. We should increase our financial and economic cooperation with the UK as the partner of choice for China in the West. And we must do more to work in partnership on the global issues that affect us both, from climate change to tackling poverty and global health issues, working together to combat instability and extremism. As President Xi said yesterday, our task is now to seize these opportunities, and I would like to say a word on some of the key areas for cooperation. First, trade and investment. Since the last state visit in 2005, our exports to China have quadrupled. In the last 5 years, they've increased by 140%. Growing to almost £20 billion per year, making us the second largest investor into China. And investment both ways has also grown, with Chinese investment into the UK reaching over $5 billion in 2014. So I want to see more trade flowing between our countries, like Geely, owner of the London taxi company, announcing a £50 million investment in the United Kingdom today. We've got Chinese companies investing in Heathrow, in Thames Water. We've got UK architects designing Chinese cities. And I'm pleased to announce today that we're signing an historic deal to build the Hinkley nuclear power station, providing reliable, affordable energy to nearly 6 million homes and creating more than 25,000 jobs, all the while working together to build a low-carbon future. Turning now to our economic and financial relationship, China is well on its way to becoming the largest economy in the world. Last year, the United Kingdom was the fastest-growing economy in the G7, and we are the leading champion within the European Union of open markets and free trade agreements. Here again, we're determined to take our relationship to the next level, including through the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which will be of enormous benefit to the region, as well as opening up more opportunities for British business to help drive growth and jobs. And we were the first Western company to issue an RMB bond outside China, which will be of great benefit to London. Today, President Xi and I have discussed how we can build on these ties through the UK-China Infrastructure Alliance. This will place UK firms at the forefront of opportunities to work with Chinese companies on infrastructure projects, including President Xi's One Belt, One Road initiative and our own Northern Powerhouse. We've also discussed the excess global supply of steel and how we can tackle it. But our relationship goes beyond trade and investment. China and Britain are both global powers with a global outlook. We share an interest in a stable and ordered world, in which countries play by the rules and work together to address threats to our security and to our prosperity. We've discussed today how, as permanent members of the Security Council, we can deepen that cooperation across the board. We've already worked together successfully to deliver an agreement to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. And we've talked about some of the less familiar challenges we now face, such as how to tackle antimicrobial resistance, where the UK is a world leader. And I'm pleased today to announce that we've established a new fund to support vital research and development on this issue. So this visit marks the start of a new era. Some have called it a golden era in relations between Britain and China, an era of stronger economic ties, deeper trade links, closer relations between our peoples, and meaningful dialogue on the issues that matter to us both. And all of this is rooted in a relationship between our two old countries. A relationship fit for the 21st century, benefiting not just our nations and our peoples, but also the wider world.
汉英口译。欧美市场经济发展较早，财富管理需求较强，财富管理行业发展较快，并逐渐在全球形成了垄断地位。而亚洲地区经济发展，特别是基础设施建设和中小企业成长的融资需求难以得到满足，亚洲财富管理行业发展也受到影响。国际金融危机以来，世界经济格局不断变化，全球财富管理中心趋向多元化发展，为亚洲财富管理提供了重大的历史机遇。亚洲具有强烈的财富管理需求。21世纪以来，亚洲经济保持快速增长，财富规模大幅提升。根据安联集团的报告，2013年，亚洲私人金融资产同比增长 12.2%， 其中中国私人财富增长率高达 23%， 高于全球多数地区增长水平。未来几十年，亚洲人口老龄化速度较快，而大多数亚洲国家社会保障制度和养老体系还不够完善。加强亚洲的财富管理是应对人口老龄化挑战的重要措施。财富管理也是亚洲各国改革创新和结构调整的需要。当前，世界经济和国际贸易增速放缓，新一轮产业革命和科技革命蓄势待发。有效的财富管理有利于促进储蓄向投资的转化，改善融资结构，加快资本形成，支持和培育新的经济增长点。亚洲也具备财富管理的基础和条件。亚洲经济潜力大，增长速度最快，投资机会也多，理应成为财富管理的宝地。亚洲形成了较为齐备的金融市场体系，拥有香港、上海、新加坡等多个金融中心。2014年，亚洲地区上市公司总市值 20.67 万亿美元，占全球上市公司总市值的 32.1%， 债券余额规模达到18万亿美元。波士顿资讯公司的全球资产管理报告显示，亚洲不包括日本和澳大利亚的管理资产额2012年增幅为 17%， 超过北美 9% 和欧洲 8%。亚洲经贸区域合作成果显著，区内贸易额3万亿美元，贸易自由化带来的资金流动为亚洲财富管理机构发展提供了沃土。特别是中国“一带一路”战略的实施，将有力促进区域内生产要素的有序流动和优化配置，为亚洲财富管理提供新的增长点。